Okay, I guess we'll get started. Welcome everyone. Thanks so much for signing up for our second webinar in our newly launched webinar series. I will be sending everyone a brief survey after the webinar. Please tell us how we can improve, because we really do want your feedback. We really do want these things to go well and for you to get a lot out of them and to learn something new. So please let us know and fill out those surveys. We set everyone to mute in order to control background noises that might interfere, but certainly not to quiet anybody. So please use the chat window to ask any questions. I'll keep monitoring that and I'll interrupt Patty on your behalf. We'll also unmute at the end so we can open up the discussion. With that, some of you I know, but for those I don't, my name is Corinne and I've worked in IT, media services, and academic technologies and legal education and higher ed for 20 years or so at large and small schools, private and public schools, top tier and unranked schools, all over the map. And I've been with AppointLink since last August. I'm going to ask Patty to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Patty Zadrowski, and I work in software development at AppointLink, mostly in testing and support, and I was involved in this latest upgrade of seatGEN. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions you have about it after we do the Canvas integration walkthrough.
And thank you, Patty. And I see Tony lurking out there. Tony, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tony Forsyth. I'm the CEO at AppointLink, and I'm also very excited about this new product, and we welcome any feedback at the end of the session. Thank you.
And in the survey. Don't forget the survey. Okay, so briefly, I'm going to just review the agenda. We just did the introductions. Patty's going to walk through integrating seatGEN in your Canvas courses, importing Canvas data into seatGEN, and launching seatGEN application from your Canvas course. Then we'll have the questions and discussion. And then I think I'm going to let Patty pick up from here, and then I'll give her the screen. Did you want to go through this, Patty?
Yes. Let me share my screen here.
I'll have to stop share to do that.
Okay.
You should be able to now.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I do have that slide as well. Just one second here. I'll go back to that. Okay. Just briefly, for those of you who may already be a Canvas administrator, some of these terms may be familiar to you, but before we start talking about this, I see these terms being passed around quite often, and I don't know that everybody understands what they are. So before we started, I just wanted to mention them. An LMS, which is a learning management system, is what Canvas is. So it's a cloud-based management software for education. Canvas, Blackboard, and Moodle, there's a few others like that. So if you hear LMS, that's what we're talking about. The other word is LTI, which is a learning tool interoperability. That's a framework that third-party tools use to communicate with tools like Canvas and Blackboard. It keeps everything standard so that we're not creating custom things for all these different systems. So as it says there, a standard framework used to integrate external tools within Canvas or other LMS. So I just wanted to mention that before we got started. So I wanted to start today with a very brief overview of seatGEN for those who might be new to it or for those who might be on a previous version. Last week's webinar covered this in great detail, so if you want to learn more, that is posted online. So I'm just going to briefly cover it, and like I said, you can watch the webinar or ask me after this and we can talk more about it. So if you would happen to go to www.seatgen.com, you will see this page here. And you can sign up for a free trial, and it'll take your information and give you a 30-day free trial. You can also hit this login button And you can start trial as a guest, which we're going to try that out. The other options that you saw in there is once you've gotten an account, you can sign in with Google authentication or Microsoft authentication. Those are your two options. And as a guest, you can come in here and play around with sample data that we've already created. So we're going to start off with the main screen. If you're familiar with seatGEN, this looks a little different than it used to. You can, if you create your own instance, you'll be able to, it'll come up with a screen first that says, do you want to try sample data? And you would just hit yes, and it'll load it for you. But in this, we have a couple things on the main page. You can look at the courses across the top as tiles, or you can look at it at a list view with all of your actions for each course on the right. The main menu of things you can do is on the left, going down the side. You can search for different terms. If you're looking for a particular course, you can look here. Or if you're looking for a person's name or a room, you can do that here. There's also these shortcuts that allow you to go, you can go to people, places, and then of course there's topics, which would be your help topics, which would be useful if you're new to this. Then you can click on different help topics. So if we go back to the main courses here, and we'll pick one. And when you pick one, it's going to expand it out, and it'll show you the people that are enrolled in this course as students or teachers or whatever role you've given them. It's going to allow you to see a preview of the seating chart, and then you can select seating. And this is where it would look familiar to people who are on the previous version. You can see that there's people to pick from up here that can be put in the seats. If you want to unseat them, you just pull them off of the seat onto the white area. From here, you have an option to print the seating chart. It'll give you some options on what you'd like printed on the chart, how you'd like the chart to look, and of course the size of the size options for the chart. This will generate a PDF which you can download or print of what you just created. Okay, another new feature that you might be interested in would be places. In the past, you've had to provide us with your places, and we've had to do the work of making the places look the way you want them to and letting you know when they're ready. Now you can look, we've got hundreds of rooms available for you to pick from that have already been created, and you also have the option to select a room and customize it. So let's go back to one of these rooms we've already got. If you wanted, let's say you're starting the semester and they say, hey, I need one more chair in this room, you can just hit customize and add a seat on your own. And there will be another webinar to discuss all the different options for customizing your room and what all these menu items mean, but just to let you know that it exists. Okay. We've gone through that. So I guess the other thing people seem to be interested in, often ask about, is having a directory of people. So if you put this into tile view, you will see all the people in this directory. So you'll have a photo directory for whatever need you have. And then the other option that has been used in the past is attendance. So let's go back to the courses. And you can view your class attendance, selecting a date. And a teacher might want to mark the people who have arrived late. And you can just click them. It also lets you see this in a raster view rather than on the chart if you wanted to maintain it this way. So that's kind of the basics of seatGEN, the differences. And I'm going to move on to how to set up the Canvas part. So I have another slide to show you. Let me grab that. I'm going to walk through these steps, but it's the basic 4-step process to set up being able to use seatGEN within Canvas. The first step is you're going to want to, well, you create your seatGEN account. You're going to want to import your Canvas data into seatGEN. I'm going to show you how to do that. Then you want to associate some rooms to the courses that you integrated, which is what your seatGEN administrator is doing today if you already have seatGEN. Then you're going to want to create an LMS share for Canvas so that Canvas allows you, that seatGEN allows you to come from Canvas and says, okay, you're authenticated to come in and do this. And then finally, you're going to want to create different shares for the different roles, such as a teacher may want to do to seat the people and print their flashcards. And you can also create shares for students who can go into Canvas and launch seatGEN to seat themselves in a seat. And they won't have any other options besides that, unless, of course, you give them other options if they're a TA, but it would just be for self-seating. So that's what we're going to walk through now. Okay, I am going to go to an account that I already have just because it's set up for this. I'm going to use my Microsoft credentials. And we're going to create a new, it'll basically look like a new account here. So this is what I was saying before, is if you set up an account, you can go to try with sample data and it'll pop it in there. Okay, so in order to integrate this with Canvas, once you have a seatGEN account, your seatGEN administrator is going to need to go to import jobs to create a job that's going to bring in all your Canvas data into seatGEN and set it up. So once you click import jobs, then you would go over to new import job. And you have different options for importing data. In this case, we're only talking about Canvas. If you're interested in the other options, there's going to be a webinar on importing data. I believe it's next week. So for Canvas, we're going to need a little bit of information. We need to get a Canvas token. And the token is really is something that we need so that we can allow us to communicate. You're going to have to get this out of Canvas, and it authorizes seatGEN to use your Canvas data. So we go over to Canvas. I'm going to log in here. Okay, if you are a Canvas administrator, you probably already know some of this information, but if you're not, I'm going to show you this. This is not an institutional account. This is my own account. For an institutional account, it may look slightly different, but for the most part, it works the same way. You go to Account, and then you would go to Settings. And down here, you're going to get a token where it says Approved Integrations. The Canvas administrator for your university would have to give you this information. They create a new access token, and you type in a purpose, and you can give it an expiration date. So that way, it's something that can be controlled, that none of the students or teachers are going to see this, and you can delete the token when it's not being used, or set an expiration date so that no one can use it after a certain date. So once it generates the access token, you want to copy it. Oops. And we're going to put that back over here where it says Enter Canvas Client API token. There it is. Okay. A lot of people also have in their institutions, they'll have a sub-account, which the sub-accounts are just basically the hierarchy structure for Canvas data for universities. So you would type that in. If you don't have one, that's fine too. And then usually you need to enter the term, which would be like the semester. If you don't, you might get a lot more data than you're looking for. So once you've entered the information, you hit the load, and this allows seatGEN to grab your Canvas data. So it grabbed an enrollment file, a courses file, people file, and we had some images for some of the students. And go to the next. This screen allows us to map the Canvas data to what seatGEN would understand. So the left side is what's the column names that are coming over from Canvas, and the right are the seatGEN fields. So we need to map them. seatGEN's going to try its best to guess what they should be, but in some cases it may not. You can also look at the sample rows. It'll show you the first 4 rows here, so you get an idea of the data and what it actually looks like. Okay, so since this is an enrollment file, this data type over here would be set to enrollment, which seatGEN figured out. In some cases it may not know, but you need to tell it what type of file it is. So in this case it's enrollment. So we look down here. Enrollment has an ID that we can just auto-detect for enrollment. The person, the group, and the role, you pick that up. For the courses file, you've got a unique ID, course name, CRN. It looks like it's gotten all of this information correct, as well as the people and images. Okay, and then at this point you can say, do I want to append data? If you've already set up your account and you're just doing updates, you would append. In this case, since this is brand new, we're doing the replace, which is just going to load the data. The good thing with Canvas is you can schedule the jobs to run, I'll show you that here, up to 4 times a day. So if you are continuously updating your enrollment or adding courses, we will go out and look in Canvas and pull that new information up to 4 times a day if you want to schedule the job. If you don't, that's fine too. And for purposes of just this demo, we're going to say no. And we'll say run now. Okay, so it's going to run the job in the background, especially if you have a lot of data, you're not going to want to sit and wait for it. So there is this indicator on the right that says show detail, and when you click it, it's going to show you the status of the job, and currently it's running. When it's complete, it'll tell you that, and it'll tell you over here if there was any issues with it and what it actually processed. So you have to give that a second. And you'll notice here, I've gotten some new people, and this Canvas job is here. Ah, there's my Canvas data. It has pulled it in. And if I open this up, you can see that this British literature class, we've got a teacher and another teacher. Some of these have students, some don't. At this point, as we said before, you need to add your rooms and associate them. So you quickly can go back over here, and we're going to pick a couple rooms. Roll really far down. Add those rooms. There they are on your account. So then we're going to select groups, and we're going to find those Canvas courses that we brought in. Okay, so I'm going to add the room to this course. So on this course you see trial advocacy that came over, the teacher enrollment and student enrollment. Over on the right is where you would edit to add the room. And the rooms I added are here. So I edit and save. Okay, and I'm going to do one more here. Okay, so now if we go back to the Find or Home screen, and let's do tile view here. Let's see. Now you can see for this federal criminal law that I've added this room, and I would be able to seat students if I wanted to. So that's actually getting your data in, but now we need to be able to set up Canvas to launch, and we're going to do that by creating an LMS share. So let's switch over to Canvas for a second. We'll go back to our main dashboard. Okay, the first thing you're going to need to do, if you're an institution, there will be a spot where you can enter a consumer key and a secret that would be used for all of your courses to give them access to seatGEN. You can also do it by course, meaning only certain courses want seatGEN, I'm only going to give them access. That's the route I'm going to show you right now. So if we go to our courses and we find the trial advocacy course, and we go down to settings, this is going to bring up the, basically it's the Edu App Store, all the different apps that you can add. I'm waiting for it to come up. There it goes. Okay, and we'll type in seatGEN. There it is. So this is saying it's available for you to add to your course. If you click Add App, it's going to ask you for the consumer key and the shared secret, which you're going to get from seatGEN. So we go back over here and we go to Shares. We'll create a new share, and in this case we want to invite LMS users. That would be Canvas. Okay, and when I do that, it generates a key and a secret. You only need one key and secret for the entire Canvas installation, and the user's never going to need to see their key or secret when the tools are installed. So if you want to delete it, hide it, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to copy this and place it here. And copy this one. Okay. One thing about Canvas is that when you add a tool, you have to go back up and hit the home in order for it to appear. So there's where the Canvas is. We're not quite ready to launch it yet. I'm going to add this to one more course, and then we're going to share it with certain types of roles. So let's go to this one here. We're going to go through the same step. Go back up here. Okay. Okay, so we've added it to both of those courses. Now, if we wanted to go to these groups, and let's say that for the trial advocacy class, we want to share this with the teacher of the class so that the teacher can go in through Canvas and set it up, seat the students, and print charts. We could do that by selecting the course here, and it brings up the share option. If we wanted to do that for all the teachers, we could do it as a group share, and we would say we want the teacher to have access to view the courses, seat people, take attendance, make flashcards, tent cards, print, and student roster. Now we have to tell seatGEN what role we're trying to share with. In this case, we are looking for, the course it had teacher enrollment is how the role came over from Canvas. So we will share with the teacher. And down here, what we're trying to tell seatGEN is we only want groups in the selection in which the user has a role. So we don't need the teacher to be updating other people's charts, only the charts of the course that he teaches. Create the share, and we can close that. And we're going to create one more for the other class, which was the federal criminal law. In this case, we want students in this class to be able to seat themselves. So we're going to create a different kind of share. Let me unselect these. We just want them to be able to self-seat, but we don't want them to do anything else. And we're going to share this with the students. And in Canvas case, it's called student enrollment. So only the groups in which they have a role, so only if you did this for a whole folder of courses, you'd only want them to be for the courses that they are enrolled. Okay, now we're going to sign out here. And I'm going to sign out of here. I'm going to sign in as the teacher. His name was Taikio. See what he sees in Canvas. So Taikio logs in. He's got this trial advocacy class. He says, oh good, they've added seatGEN for me. He launches. Okay. So when he launches, he sees his course, he sees the students in his course, and he sees his options. He selects seating, and he can see these people and print if he likes. And he's off to the races. Okay, and just we'll show you the other one. Come out of there. Now let's log in as the student. His name was Rob Stu. Okay. Okay, and let's take the federal criminal law course. And his teacher sent him an email and said, please seat yourself. So he clicks seatGEN. And when he logs in, he sees only a button for self-seat. He doesn't have any of the buttons for printing or seating other students. He selects self-seat, and the message here says, click on any open seat location you wish to reserve for this course and click Save. He will only see himself. If other people are seated, he will see a blank image, a generic image that just says someone's taken that seat, but it's not going to show him who they are. You can hit Save and sign out. Okay, so that is the basics of how to set up your course in Canvas with seatGEN, and I am now ready to take any questions you might have.
She worked with Paula before she switched over, and she worked with Anna before she switched over. Before all y'all, before the students changed out, that's what I mean. Is Teresa here? No, she just went to a meeting. I saw her walk out.
Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, all right, thanks.
Hello, everybody. Hello? I just unmuted everybody. So does anybody have any questions? Nice job, Patty, by the way. Very nice job.
Thank you.
Are all of you Canvas users, I'm assuming? I have a question in the chat. If we are not yet on seatGEN 3.0, can we test the Canvas integration?
Oh, excuse me. I believe the answer to that is yes. If you go in and you set up your 30-day free trial, you can do everything that I just did.
Now, it looks like people have muted, but I'm not sure that they did it themselves. I'm going to take a chance and unmute everybody again. I hope that I'm not throwing anybody off. You can always mute yourself again. No, I think people have done it themselves. Anybody else have any questions?
Erin?
Yeah?
Where are these webinars being posted for people to view later?
I'm creating a website for them, but I always include them within the reminder emails about the next webinar coming up for now. But I'm creating a website where they'll all be listed.
Okay, great.
So, okay, well, I guess nobody else has any questions. Patty, thank you for yours. Remember, next week's webinar, we'll be sending a reminder out. You can use the Calendly link from this week's webinar to sign up if you haven't already. If you want me, well, and I'm going to take that out because it doesn't pertain to this particular webinar. Sorry, I was going to say if you wanted me to cut off the discussion at the end and edit that out, I would do that. But since there wasn't much discussion, it's kind of moot. Remember that these are held every Thursday rather at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're starting our grading and learning outcomes tracking webinars. Those are held every other Wednesday at 3 p.m. The next one is February 7th. And we'll soon be adding a series on student engagement applications. So be on the lookout for those as well. Again, thank you everybody for joining. We hope that you got a lot out of it, and please do give us some feedback on the survey that I'm going to send you. One last shot. Anybody have any questions? Well, thanks again and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.